What a super eventful week for Bitcoin. We scraped almost to 72,000 right on Friday morning. And then right when the job report came out, it took a dive back down. We've mostly recovered since then, but we're still not over the $70,000 mark. Now, a couple things. One, do you know how much Bitcoin is held by the ETFs right now? I'm going to give you that answer. It is a staggering number, higher than you probably thought, and I'm going to give that to you in a little bit. We're also going to talk about the projects I'm in, the trading bot protocols, and how they've done and how my own trading's gone. But let's go back to Bitcoin for a second. So this is a lot of people say, well, inflation has nothing to do with Bitcoin. You're wrong. Bitcoin is now an asset class, just like other assets out there, and it's affected by similar things. Now, if inflation comes down and the rates of return, guaranteed rates of return, like through a bank and things like that, very almost darn near guaranteed, that's FDIC insured, go from 5% down, well, there's going to be the people are going to want to take more risk to go get something of higher return out there. And so Bitcoin falls into that. So if inflation stays high, the appetite for higher risk isn't going to be there, or it'll be there to a degree, but not as much as it could be. If inflation comes down, the returns like the 4 or 5% in your savings account, when those go away, there's going to be opportunity for people to take their money in savings that's getting nothing and put it into assets like Bitcoin, bonds, equities, things like that. So for those of you, tell me I'm wrong down below. That's fine. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, like, share, and do all those things. But in the meantime, if you think I'm wrong, put a comment down below. Let me know. Yes, I know there's other factors involved in Bitcoin, and one of the big factors was all these ETFs putting money in. But I have a slightly different take on that. I'm going to tell you exactly how much money, or I should say pretty darn close to exact how much money is in the ETFs, what percentage of Bitcoin that is, and how that's affecting you. But right now, let's just jump into a couple other projects I'm in. I'll be very transparent on this. My EasyBot, which EasyBot, for those of you who don't know, is a trading software that uses your crypto exchange, the money in your exchange, and it just sends through an API. It just sends a signal to your exchange to buy and sell on a certain, pattern that EasyBot does. So you actually hold your crypto. You don't give it to someone and say, please give me a return back. You just use software to trade it. EasyBot I've had since August 25th of 2022, so almost 2 years now, and it has performed very well. Now, in sideways markets, because I don't have enough underlying USDT in there right now, it's been very slow, $6.37, $6.37, most people would say. So look, pretty small return this last couple of weeks. But I only shoot for 0.5 to 1%. If it's 1% a week, that's 52% a year. That is about 10 times higher than I can get in a high yield savings account. And I own the crypto as long as the exchanges don't go busto. And this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. All these things are risky. Everything I talk about, there's a high degree of risk in. So please do your own research. But that being said, small return, small costs. If I annualize that, it's about 3%. Not great. But, again, I've had much better weeks. You looked back here, 12%, 9%, 7%, and this isn't a week. It's averaged out. I've gotten about 24% return year to date. Not terrible. I'm looking to double that. That's 50. What is that? About almost 50%. That's pretty darn good. Maybe for you degens out there, it's not quite like 3% a day that you give them money. They give you back 3% a day. Then you lose all your money when they rug. But I think 50% is pretty darn good. Next up, Rev Token I'm still in. They haven't done a whole lot. I'd like to see them do a little bit more out there. Let's go into Pionex. Pionex, if Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is where I have my bots in there, they've just been trading sideways. I don't have a lot of capital in there, about $1,100. It's whatever. Coinbase, my buy and hold strategy has been working well. I've had a 43% return is that year to date? I think that's year to date on my buy and hold pattern. Not a bad way to go if you buy low, sell high. That works. A lot of these trading bots, they buy and then they sell if it goes up, or they buy if it goes down to sell when it goes up. It's a DCA pattern, most of them. Jonny blockchain. This is a newer one I'm in. I only have a couple bots running right now. This one's been going pretty strong. This trunk bot. I killed my AVAX bot. I was just moving sideways. My Ethereum bot hasn't done anything because Ethereum's been very static. So I really need to look into this a little more. They have some bots that have just been having incredible returns. This is the one I'm in, Trunk. There's all these other ones that they've been showing decent returns in. I just haven't put enough capital to it. Right now, this week, I had a, about a $18 profit on $387 account. So very little funds in there. I had about $4 in fees. It was about 25% of the profit. And so about a 3.61% return this week. Not too shabby, 3.61. I'd like to scale that up. You might see me scale it up over the next couple weeks. I've just got a lot of other things going on in my life, and I'm trying to save to put 4 kids through college. So a lot going on in my life, but neither here nor there. So overall, EasyBot, EasyBot's a performer. I just haven't really put the time into this one. Jonny Blockchain, I've been doing some trading of my own, and that has been going, let's see. I've had really, I do post every single day. I post the returns that I have that day. Had like a 55% loss the other day, a 22% gain. It's been volatile, but I'm creating new rules to improve there, and it's going okay. As you can see, I'm down to $123 in that account. I did take some money out to move it other places. I had an $82 loss this week. That's why I have only $123. So that's a negative 66 this week. I got crushed with a couple bad trades one day when the market was going against me. And because of that, I created a bunch of new rules. I have about 13 trading rules right now, and I'm going to probably review those, put them together, and maybe have a couple rules that I live by. But I'm getting closer. My trading has gotten better and better. My big losses have gotten smaller, but that day I lost a lot. I had a lot of small losses. It was terrible. I kept chasing the dragon, so to speak. But that all being said, these are the focus of what I'm doing has to do with trading and trading bots because it's real revenue. I know of a couple projects coming up that I'm watching out for. One of them is a guy I knew in college very well, and one of my best friends who was in my wedding party is working with him on a crypto project. I'm not ready to really talk about it yet because I'm not sure what I'm allowed to talk about, what I'm not allowed to talk about on this project, but I can tell you this. It is a real deal project with real deal money going into it. It could have a profound effect on tokenization of different assets. So I'm very excited about that one. I will watch it and give you news as it comes. But let's talk about Bitcoin again for a second. So Bitcoin, let me pull up my stats here. I don't know if you know this, but as of June 6th, the spot Bitcoin ETFs around the world held about 1.3 million Bitcoin. 1.3 million Bitcoin. So that's about 5.2% of the circulating supply that these ETFs hold. Now, 5% is enough to have a very large influence, whether that be because you're either buying or you're not buying. That alone will influence the market. The market's going to be watching what these ETFs are doing. Are they buying or not buying? They're going to follow the big money lead. So is there manipulation of Bitcoin going on? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know for sure. I know that they're heavily regulated by the SEC. So I certainly hope that's not the case. But, when you see that 5.2% is held by these big holders in the ETFs, that's a fair chunk that's out there. So while I don't know that there's price manipulation going on, I certainly hope not. Just them being in the market, people are watching what they're doing. And if they're not buying, I'm sure a lot of people are saying, why aren't they buying? Or if they are buying or selling, whatever they're doing, people will watch. That alone will change the market. So I do believe that we're about to, at any time now, this is not financial advice, do your own research, but I do believe that we're going to hit a parabolic state. I know Robert Kiyosaki, the gentleman who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, great book if you hadn't read it, he just recently predicted that Bitcoin will go to $350,000 by August. That's about 2 months away. I think that's crazy. I don't think that'll happen unless there's some kind of black swan event. But when people like that say things like that, it makes you think what's in their mind, what's going on. I've heard 150 by the end of the year. I've heard 3,000 by the end of the year, and everything in between and above and below. But I my own prediction, and it's a guess at this point, I think we'll be around 100,000 by the end of the year, maybe a little bit higher, between 100 and maybe 120. But that's a guess at this point. Who knows? What world event would have to happen to make it to go to 350,000? The collapse of U.S. bond payments, collapse of the U.S. dollar. Who knows? But these days, it could be a war. I have no idea, but I don't think it's going to zero. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Now that the ETFs they hold, what is that? Is that 90 billion? How many? 1.3 million Bitcoin. 1.3 million Bitcoin. Let's do the quick math there. 1.3 million Bitcoin. Is that 1.3 million? We'll call it 69.5 a coin. That's $90 billion of Bitcoin that these exchanges hold. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, that's a million. $90 billion of Bitcoin. So with that kind of money in those markets, you can bet your butt. Nah, I wouldn't bet my butt, but you can bet something that Bitcoin is not going to go to zero. That kind of money involved in ETFs alone that's SEC regulated, you really would hope that wouldn't be the case. That's all I got. I hope you got some kind of value out of this short weekly review. Let me see your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, do all those things, and I'll see you next time.